So in the most scientific community in 1938, Adolf Hitler took power. Germany was ahead scientifically. We got all their scientists, by the way, to figure out how to make the atom bomb, and they were way ahead of everybody else, their scientists, in a lot of other areas. They were a very cultured society at that time in the 30s. Music, the arts, science, education, that was it in Germany. But yet, through science, they discovered and found that the Aryan race was superior. Evolution had developed to an Aryan race, and that the others, especially the Jews, some of them needed to be kicked off the earth because, you know, if they were going to have children with others, they're just going to mess up the human race entirely. And interestingly, we see that evolution has always caused problems by people who believed it and led society by it. Communism, evolutionary society. Interesting that they treated life so abstract. You know, they didn't value life at all. I mean, into the gulags. I mean, lots of things written. There were probably 20 million Russians killed in concentration camps because they were politically incorrect. But Stalin and those guys said, it doesn't matter because we need to have a healthy society. If we've got to get rid of the misfits, that's okay. By the way, that's Mahesh Yogi says too, and we've talked about that too. Oprah doesn't realize this probably, but Barbara Marx Hubbard, we've got her quoted saying the spirits that others have channeled and she's channeled herself and that Oprah's friend Marianne Williamson channels, they all agree that we're going to have to wipe out a lot of the population of the earth because they're going to be in the way of the evolution of the spirit. And that's what Michael Harner would say too, as we're impeding scientific progress, and others, I'm sure, would say that, you know, it's all based on the evolution of the soul now. It's more important than the evolution of the body. And you're going to impede the progress of mankind rising to the heights that he was destined, I was going to say. Well, who's going to destine you if there isn't a God overseeing it? But, you know, you're supposed to go there. And you know, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi said, well, we'll just kill you and reincarnate you. He laughed when he said it because it doesn't matter. We're killing you for God. We're reincarnating you so that you can get to a higher level, like Edgar Cayce was channeling spirits saying that Jesus had reincarnated to a certain level. There were spirits higher than Jesus, but he had gotten, you know, up there pretty high. And, you know, and that's a good thing. We should all aspire to attain to Jesus' level of consciousness. And there's many on the earth who claim that, friends of Oprah and others, that they are Christ consciousnesses. But these demons are saying they're going to have to wipe out a lot of the earth because some people, Christians, some others, Jews especially, the spirits don't like the Jews. And the reason we've talked about that is because the Bible says that you're not going to be able to wipe out the Jews. And the spirits have been trying so hard. God has said that. Check it out in Jeremiah 31, where he promises a new covenant to Israel. Right after he says, you know, this new covenant's coming. You know, if it doesn't come, then you don't have any stars in the heavens. You don't have a sun. You don't have a moon. You don't have a planet Earth anymore. That's the only way you're going to wipe out Israel. It's going to be there to the, you know, they're going to be Jews and they're going to be back in their homeland someday. I'm going to bring them back. It took over about 1900 years. I'm going to bring them back. Another fulfilled prophecy. So these spirits want to say, no, this book is junk. You don't have to listen to it at all. And the way we'll do it is we'll show that they're wrong in their prophecies, that we're going to destroy all the Jews. So that's what, I mean, what else? What's the logic behind picking out one religion and saying those people have evolved so far behind they need to be totally wiped out? So Alice Bailey, who started Lucis Trust, they've got offices down in the UN. They've really permeated into the UN, amazingly, the whole new age. Started with Lucifer Trust. They changed the name because that doesn't go over too well in our culture. To Lucis means light, Lucifer the light bearer. Jesus is really the light, but you know, Satan's a counterfeiter. So Lucis Trust. Alice Bailey channeled this spirit, Joel Kuhl, who said also, you know, we're going to have to wipe out these people who are causing progress to be impeded, these Jews and Christians, because they stick to this book spiritually, and the spiritual answer is us. We're taking you to higher levels. Just listen to us little demons. We'll get you there. Jay, do you want to listen to those little demons?
Well, I listened to him for 35 years, Mike. Little did I know that's who I was listening to. One thing I'd like to share, Mike, you opened up the program with these two different spirits, and how do you know which one to listen to? And then through your exhortation and explanation, what I got out of, well, here's how. The doctrine of demons will always be a self-exaltation. Okay, it's where we exalt self. That's what happened in the Garden of Eden, and that's what man's been doing, become as God. They exalt self. That's what Satan did. He exalted himself above God. Okay, now the Spirit of the Lord is completely opposite.
Can I jump in there?
Okay, go ahead.
When I was into Eastern thought, and anybody who reads Yogananda's autobiography and all these other gurus and meditating, what you think you're trying to do is to rid yourself of your ego. So you're suppressing
Well, that's the lie.
Yeah, it is. It is the lie. It is the original. But you actually think you're doing the opposite. You think you're becoming less proud, less ego-ridden, and just bathing in the cosmic consciousness, the God that is all in all, and letting him come through you. So really, you go back to the best way is what God says, is 100% fulfill prophecy. If they can tell the future 100% accurately, but no one can do that. They might be right a little bit now, especially because they're copying a lot of prophecies here. Go ahead.
And Mike, the one who said that, Jesus, he also said, if you want to lose your life, then live. But if you want to live, then lose your life. John the Baptist said, I must decrease so that he might increase.
And what does he mean by lose your life?
Well, he means to recognize that he is the only one who can save you, the depraved, sinful man. So we must give our life to him.
And follow him.
And follow him. He is the exalted one. He's already done all the work.
Right.
He's the one that's paid the price for my sin. Now, I can try to, and there's the key word, I empty myself and let this Christ consciousness work through me. But in doing that, I'm actually increasing and not decreasing. I am exalting myself instead of recognizing, you know what? There's nothing good in me. And again, we talk about those two spirits, Mike. The lying spirit will always be a self-exaltation, but the Spirit of God is his exaltation, his spirit.
Here's the thing. As you know, Jesus said, if you're not for me, Jesus said, you're against me, whether you know it or not, whether you're neutral about Jesus.
Which I thought I was, being a Catholic.
But you've rejected what they teach because they've teach a different Jesus at this point.
They taught a different gospel, and I didn't know that until I came into the light, until the darkness I walked in was exposed by the light, and the light exposed the deeds, and then I could see. I could see the lie. And again, in that religion, Mike, that religion was exalted. And I became exalted in my faith, was in my faith, and that faith was wrong. Because they exalted Mary, they did not exalt.
And they got into this works thing where you can work out your own salvation.
So who's being exalted?
By works, you can boast. And Ephesians...
Who's being exalted?
You would be, of course. And Ephesians 2:8 and 9 says it's not by works, lest any should boast, but it's by faith. Which comes through grace, the grace of God.
Which is the gift. It's a gift. Here's the gift.
Now, why do we need the gift? Let's explain briefly why all this stuff, why Jesus, why this salvation in the first place. The whole Bible is about sin, that we've been messed up, that mankind fights with each other.
Well, we fell. When Adam and Eve disobeyed God, all mankind fell.
And we've inherited, basically through DNA, and we can show this scientifically, that identical twins separated from birth have identical behavior patterns.
And that's
very
a whole
often.
other program in itself.
But they have identical behavior patterns. So sin is a behavior pattern. So we've inherited this tendency to sin from our ancestors. And God's not going to allow sin in his presence in heaven.
Why?
Because he's holy, and he does not allow that in his presence.
That's right.